And we're live. Welcome to the 21st Decentralized Data, formerly open source block explorers now. This is a channel that's focused on actually giving a major point of centralization some work, because in the blockchain space, we don't realize that anytime you go to a block explorer and you check a transaction, they're probably logging your IP and they probably know who you are. And so that pseudonymous address that you have, not so good anymore. There's a lot of points of centralization that come around aggregating all the data that's in blockchains. And we're lucky enough that we have a few open source block explorers now on the Ethereum network that can actually be run locally and can help decentralize a little bit and secure some privacy. But we're talking about decentralized data in general, and we have a whole nice crew here that let's just do a quick rounds of introductions. I'll model. So I'm Griff Green with Giveth. We are building the future of giving. Not much to do with data, but we really are all in on the decentralization aspect. So I will pass it to Alexi from Blockscale. And Alexi, you just pick someone else to pass it to, okay?
Okay, good.
Oh, you're muted.
Yeah, okay. Actually, can I share the screen during when I talk?
Yeah. Well, let's just do an intro first. But you can share the screen when
Okay. Intro. Just I'm working on Blockchain project, which is the analytical tool. It's not really the Explorer, but it's kind of more deep analytical with the Ethereum, and we plan to add more blockchains in the future. And maybe today I can show some new stuff that we're working on. We have teams in St. Petersburg, Russia, and in New York.
Nice.
Okay.
Well, let's pass it to Jay.
Hi, my name's Jay. I'm working on a project called TrueBlocks. I've been working on it for quite some time. And I love what Griff says about every time you go to a blockchain explorer, they're attaching your IP address to your Ethereum address. And to me, this just makes no sense whatsoever. So I want to build access to that same data. The reason you go to a blockchain explorer is to look at your own accounts. So I want to build that into a locally running piece of software that nobody can watch. So that's what TrueBlocks is, and hopefully I'll have an example not this week, but in the coming weeks. Pass it on to Serge, I
guess. I don't know if Sergey's got good enough internet to join us at this moment, so we'll just pass it to Victor.
How about Victor?
Okay, hi guys, I'm Victor from POA Network. So I'm working on Blockscale project. It's open source blockchain explorer written on Elixir. I'm doing different stuff on this project, from the bugs identifying on DevOps stuff. So I'm fully involved into this project, and I want to share the updates from the POA network itself and Blockscale project for today. And Serge, if you are here.
Oh, I'm here.
Nice.
In last time we built some interesting analytics for sentiment, and one of that is locked Ethereum in dApps, and we also built all the traders trades in sentiment. It's available now too. And we ERC 20
Oh yeah, your
traders exchanges.
And, hey Sergey, your internet's still dropping out a lot. So if you can find a good spot for Wi-Fi, that would be amazing, man. Because I really want to hear about Sentiment and Cyberdrop and all the cool stuff you're working on. But we gotta push forward. So we're gonna start the show with some personal heroes of mine, POA and Block Explorer, because you guys actually did it. You fulfilled the desire of this channel several months ago with your open source Block Explorer, Blockscale, and it works so well. I use it a lot. Do you want to give us some updates on what you guys have been doing lately?
Yeah, thank you very much. But first of all, if you don't mind, I would like to tell about some news about POA network itself. So it's a little bit aside of Blockscale project. It's about Common hard fork, So we made it possible 2 days ago in 15th of May. So what we know about Common before this hard fork? We know that this is a public Ethereum testnet launched in 2017 within our consensus protocol under the hood. It's some kind of proof of authority with a immutable list of validators, predefined set of validators. So a lot of projects were using Common testnet for their projects. Personally, Common was my favorite public Ethereum testnet before Blockscale was added as support of SOOOOO testnet. But Common is still my favorite because of speed of this blockchain explorer. But the problem with Common for the last days was that not all the nodes that were predefined in the list were operating, right? So only a small amount of nodes were in operational state. So this led to the increasing of block time in Common testnet. So what hard fork brought to Common testnet 2 days ago? So we brought Common on-chain governance model that we are using in our POA chains, like in SOOOOO, in Core, or in XDAI. What does it mean? That now there is no predefined set of validators. Now we have a smart contracts that manage this set of validators. It means that validators are able to create ballots for adding new validators, removing malicious one, ATK, so they are able to change the threshold limits also, and also they are able to change the implementation of smart contracts. So the set of smart contracts is fully upgradable. The second thing that the hard fork, what hard fork brought to Common is the 4 seconds block time, because non-operational nodes were removed from the spec. And so it means that, again, Common is the fastest public Ethereum testnet from the all. And there are, for now, 4 initial validators in Common. It's POA network itself, it's PepperSec, Polymath, and Lab10, so collective, the initiators of Artist blockchain. So we added to the Common so-called on-chain governance, added upgradability of smart contracts, and added long-term support by POA network. So we sheltered Common. We can think like this. Of course, Blockscale added the support of this updated Common chain, and moreover, Etherscan and Infura also changed the spec to support this updated Common. So it was some news about Common hard fork, and I will go deeper to the updates from the Blockscale project.
Well, wait. I think this is kind of cool. I think it's at least worth a quick round to see if anyone has any questions for you or any.
Sure.
I know. I'm curious, like how much interaction did you actually have with Parity about this? Like, did you have any at all, or did you just do it?
I'm not sure. I wasn't actually involved into this hard fork at all, so I don't know how many interactions. But I think there were some of them, some interactions. Yeah.
Is it really very like you mentioned? It's very fast. It's comparing to Ropsten. What are the comparable figures?
What is it? Blockchain and Ropsten?
Ropsten is a test network for Ethereum.
I know what is Ropsten, of course. No,
yeah. I mean, what's comparable to Ropsten? How fast is it? You mentioned that you prefer it because of the speed for development.
Yes, in Ropsten it's like 15 seconds or something like this.
Mm-hmm.
I can check it in Blockscale.
Mm-hmm. And for Kovan it's like much less.
I think it used to be 4 seconds, right, or 3 seconds.
For Kovan is 4 seconds.
Mm-hmm.
4 seconds.
So it says 4 times faster.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Oh, for Ropsten now is 12 seconds, 3 times faster. So
mm-hmm.
This is why I love Kovan
mm-hmm.
for the speed.
That's interesting. So did you keep the same authorities for Kovan, or did you totally change who the authorities are?
I believe some of the authorities was already involved into the previous version of Kovan, but we added, as I know, PepperSec, POA Network. They were not Kovan validators before the hard fork.
Cool.
Yeah. And I think this list will be increased in the future. Because
well, all I have is praise. Giveth is a validator on the XDAI network, and it's really cool to do the on-chain governance with like a UI, and it feels like I'm part of. It feels like a DAO, which is what a blockchain should feel like. That it's like, okay, we are especially POA blockchain is very much DAO-like.
Yeah.
So
correct. Agree with you.
It's really fun. It's really fun to work with your guys' software. It makes it really easy. And if anyone else is looking to make their own POA chain, man, obviously POA is the group to use, right? But yeah. So tell us more about the updates on Blockscale.
Yeah, sure. So first of all, as I previously reported on the last call, we started a collaboration with the EVM team on having of decompiled smart contracts in the Blockscale instances. And we made successfully integration with the Girly instance of Blockscale as the smallest chain. It was rather smooth. We uploaded all of the decompiled smart contracts. There were something like 3,000 of decompiled smart contracts in Girly network. Yes, and we started the same procedure for Ethereum mainnet on our staging server. Yeah, and we still continue this process because it is not rather smooth as in Girly, because mainly because of the amount of smart contracts. It's millions, not thousands. And
can you explain? Are you saying? Did you say pre-compiled smart contracts? What does that mean?
Decompiled. So we
decompile. Oh, I got you. Okay.
Yeah.
Yep, I understand.
EVM team has a decompiler, so they have a database with decompiled smart contracts, and we want to have the same smart contracts in Blockscale. So what we are doing, we created some endpoints for EVM team where they listen that endpoints and get a list of addresses of smart contracts, and then EVM team either uploads the decompiled code of those smart contracts. But we encountered with a performance issue in the Ethereum mainnet server. unfortunately, and we are stuck in. So EVM team already uploaded 80 or 90% of decompiled code to our database, but we are stuck because of performance issue in our API endpoint, and we are working on that to fix this. So I think we need to change the database structure that related to decompiled smart contracts to eliminate this performance issue. I hope we will do this pretty soon. Maybe on the next week we will fix this and ship this fix to our staging server. And EVM team will upload the rest of this decompiled code. So it's 10 or 20% overall. So it's not so much.
Is the decompiled contracts, do they help you understand smart contracts significantly, or is it helpful?
I think it will be helpful for users that, first of all, it is helpful for decentralization. So we will have the same database in EVM, we have in Blockscale, maybe in other blockchains. And the users that we will use blockchain explorers, I think, yes, it's useful. You can get...
it's very useful.
Yeah, you can get...
Sorry, go ahead.
No problem, no, good.
Well, there's a bit of a delay. I'm in South Africa, and my internet's been a little dicey. I even got cut off a second ago. But I think it's really helpful. For instance, like Viper contracts, like Uniswap, they can't even verify because they're using Viper. But I believe, I hope that the decompiler might actually be able to pull out some data. Do you know if they can? Like, can they show what Viper code is doing? I would think so.
Yeah, and also you can get, for example, of course, decompiler doesn't give you a full, for example, ABI of the smart contract, right? But you can get a partial ABI and interact with smart contract, right? You can read, write, or so. And so, yes,
yeah.
you can see source code of it.
Yeah, and so Tomas did a great job with with his decompiler. I assume that's what you're using, right? Is Tomas's EVM, or yeah? I mean, he actually came on the show a couple of times and showed it off. We looked at the DAO hackers contracts, and you could see what functions they're calling and the different. This is stuff that we just couldn't see before because it's all bytecode. And so to be able to see a code that nobody else verified and actually kind of understand, you can't see 100% of everything, but it'll only get better.
Sure. So with every new decompiler version, you will see more. Yeah. So I think that guy's doing nice stuff.
Oh, yeah, he's a superstar.
And I hope we will ship those decompiled code to our production instance, and I hope you will be able to see decompiled code in Blockscale maybe in May. I hope so. So this is about one thing about decompiled source code. Also, we issued not so much releases from the past months, from the last call, because we are preparing a big release, so-called we call it 2.0 or something. It's mainly about the new fresh design of the Blockscale. I believe you will love it for sure. So Blockscale will be more colorful and more rounded, But we shipped several releases, and I would like to briefly list fixes and features that we have added for the past months, if you don't mind. Have it?
Yeah, especially features.
Okay, cool. Only features. So what we added is a support of CPP Ethereum client. So this is a C++ Ethereum client. So if your node is running on CPP Ethereum client, you are able to use Blockscout now. So feel free to use it. While we're working on adding of support of C++ Ethereum client, so we also added, we can now support nodes that have no WebSocket endpoints. It's important in some cases. And the guy who told us that he uses C++ Ethereum client, he has no WebSocket endpoint there, and we made possible Blockscout to work with such nodes. So if you have WebSocket endpoint, no problem. Blockscout will work because it will poll the data. It will polling. We added a polling fallback in this case. So also we added a full text search by tokens. So you are able to type the name of your token, and you will be able to find the address of this token. This is must-have feature, right? Also, we have added the summary of tokens transfers for ERC20 and ERC7721 tokens on the transaction details page. So also we added a keep alive on WebSockets because some servers closes the sockets after receiving no messages after some period of time. And this is why we added a 10 minutes keep alive on WebSockets. Also, we added, in addition to some counters we have on the main page of Blockscout, we have a transaction counter page, addresses counter page, average block time. We added also a blocks counter page. So, and it uses a long-term storage cache, so it shouldn't increase dramatically the response time of the main page. And also we added searching without 0x prefix. So it's annoying thing for some users, even for us. So you now can search addresses and transactions without 0x prefix. And we added an ability to start indexer from another block. I mean that if you don't want to index your blockchain from the Genesis block, you can specify the number of block when you would like to start to index the blockchain. So
that's an excellent, that's a great feature.
Yeah, it was requested by the member of our community and we shipped it. Yeah. So it's all about the features. I will not go in details to the fixes we made. Maybe I would like to mention also that Blockscout now has a official Twitter account, _Blockscout, where we announce all our new releases and problems, if we have some problems with our Blockscout instances. I think so that's all for updates from Blockscout project for the month.
Nice. You know, oh, go ahead, Jay.
Oh, I actually have to leave. I'm traveling right now, so I'm going to just take 2 minutes, and then I'm going to have to get off the call if that's okay.
Yeah.
But you know, we can finish this section.
Well, yeah, actually, well, I wanted to say, you know, I would love to see Quick Blocks be integrated with Blockscout's UI. I don't know if that's, sorry, True Blocks. I'd love to see True Blocks get integrated into Blockscout's UI. Do you think that's possible? Anybody? Either of you? Jay, do you think it's possible?
I'd have to look into it, but I think we've started looking at a UI for Quick Blocks. And I always talked about how we weren't really building a blockchain explorer. We were more building an account explorer. So we're going to focus not sort of on the broad view of the whole blockchain, but on a view of your specific accounts that you're interested in. So we're just getting started in developing a front end. And hopefully in a couple weeks, I'll have some demonstrations to do that. And then I do have to actually go, so I apologize for that. But I wanted to also say I'm going to be at SNYC this weekend, so I'd love to talk to anybody around about how to build a UI. If anybody's looking for a partner to build a UI in front of an account explorer, we can look into that. So, but I'll be back in a couple weeks. So so thanks again, and I'm really pleased to see that people are still talking about decentralizing the data, because that's the whole point.
Yeah, yeah,
right?
for sure.
We want to decentralize the shit out of this data.
Hell yeah. I'm talking about. So, well, what do you think, Victor? Do you think it'd be possible to? I mean, if you can already select the blocks that you want to display on Blockscout, what could you select the accounts?
Theoretically, yes, it is possible.
So what we're thinking of, like when I go to Etherscan now, I really only look at 3 or 4 or 10 accounts. And I would love to name those accounts for myself so that I have the same names every time I come. But I'm hesitant to do that at Etherscan because then they know who I am and what I'm looking at and what I'm interested in. So I want to give that ability to people directly on their own accounts and to name anything they want so they can understand what they're looking at.
Okay. If you could, I think we have the similar feature because if you go to Blockscout, for example, POA core or XDAI instance, you will be able to see the names of the validators who validate the blocks. I mean, you will see you will see the names of those.
Can your users personally name?
No.
Yeah, I think users want that. You know, when I go, I want to see Jay's account, you know, or my son's account, or.
And where do you store this data? Do you store it?
That's the point. That's the point. If it's centralized, I'm very hesitant to store that data. If the Explorer is decentralized, I'll store it anywhere I want to because nobody's looking over my shoulder and watching me.
Because for our validators, we store it in blockchain, in smart contract. So it's decentralized way.
Yeah, I mean,
yeah, and I would love to see, Jay, I'd love to see quick blocks on a DApp node, and then you got a big hard drive right there that you could just store it as whatever kind of JSON you want.
No, that's exactly right, and we're definitely working on it. We have a Docker image running already, but we don't have it running on a DApp node yet, but we're working on it. But the other thing is, once you start having these personalized views of the data, there's also an opportunity to start sharing those personalized views so that if somebody has the ABI for a certain smart contract and they want to share it with me, I would love them to share that with me, and I'd be happy to take that and then put it locally on my own machine so that I don't have to worry about ever having to find it again. So I think that's what I mean when I start talking about decentralizing the data. We should all have personalized view of the data, and we should all be able to share anything we want with anyone we want. But anyway, I do have to go, and I do apologize. I'll hopefully have some demos in a couple weeks, and I'm trying my best to come to these and ask good questions and have a good conversation. So thank you, Griff.
Yeah. Hey, thank you, man.
Okay.
Enjoy the conferences.
And Alexi, you're not in New York, are you?
Not yet.
Okay.
Actually, you talk a very interesting idea. Have you looked at MetaMask naming? Can we use just MetaMask account names for personal use? Have you investigated that?
No, I don't think so. But I feel like MetaMask is watching me too, to be honest with you.
I think that what you enter in the client, like names of account, they shouldn't go outside the machine. They're open source, right?
Yeah, everything should be local unless the user wants it to be shared. And if the user wants it to be shared, then it should be easily shared with everyone. So you know what? I'm gonna check out. So nice to see you all, and we'll see you soon. Thank you.
Yep. I'm gonna connect him to the DApp node. I can't believe that hasn't happened yet. Well, hey, this is a great time to transition to Blocksy. Alexei, I'd love to hear what you guys are working on these days, and maybe even just an overview of what Blocksy's mission is.
Yeah, maybe I share the screen to very briefly show what we're working right now. How to do that? Is there any button here to make a sharing? Screen share. Yes, I found it. Yes. Do you see it?
Yep.
Yep.
So actually, very briefly, I'll show you two features. One of the feature is the ability to see the portfolio for address. So I enter just address, and this is the new stuff here called portfolio analysis. And when I click here, it actually loads the history of the address in this way. So you see all the tokens balances. Currently it's in dollars, or I can switch to Ethereum if I want to. This is the Ethereum value. So it shows effectively the value of all the assets that's stored in the address by the time. And also it's just you can go and see the distribution of any point in time. And actually the portfolio profits of by the time, so by any asset and in total. So this is we just started, and this is like a prototype. We want to extend this in some way that we have, but I wanted to share the very initial idea how it works. So this is for any address. Actually, you can see the assets history and the value of the address. Initially, one person asked us to do that to see the history of the fund. So that was initial request, but we want to extend it a bit. So this is number one. Do you have any specific comments on that?
Yes, I have. So we have a similar chart in Blockscale. So do you collect the balance updates on each transactions, right, to get that chart or not? How do you collect the data?
We actually combined here two data. The first is the transaction of transfers, and the second is market data. Currently, we use 1 hour data from markets. Yes, and
which API do you use for markets?
CryptoRank. It's similar to CoinMarketCap, but we think it's better.
Is it free to use or not?
It's yes, it's currently free. They go into use like freemium model in the future, but currently it's free.
Okay. Okay, thanks.
So this is number one that I wanted to share. That so the idea behind that is to show a very detailed view of the value of the address. That's the whole idea of this page. I'm not sure that we finished here. We even not on the middle of the road, but this is just the first iteration. The second, which we the feature that we added is so-called the token graph analysis, and it works for Ethereum as a whole. So this effectively shows the major flow of Ethereum between addresses in the whole network during the period of time. So I have selected right now the May 10, 17, and I see the groups of addresses and how they interacted with each other and how they actually the major flow I can understand for Ethereum. And it's quite helpful to see like patterns of what's happening. And also this works for any currency. For example, I can open this the token, say Binance token, and there is a token graph, and it shows the, for example, the last 7 days. And I can control, actually, if it is too not detailed, I can add the detail level and see what's happened with the Binance token during the last. It's not so much. So it's the major flow of tokens.
Binance is probably the worst option because for like the week.
Yeah, they were like turned off, but still there is something, and it actually can be done for any token. For example, I can enter the DAI here and see what's happening with DAI. This is DAI, and to build this token graph, say the last 7 days. And here we have, for example, for DAI, we have a lot of exchange on DEXs as ISS matching markets, Kyber network, and of course the DAI itself should be somewhere here. They call this site tab, but I actually don't see it here. So basically, we built it to have a very high-level view of what's happening in the network. So these two features that I wanted to share.
By the way, what framework did you use for visualization?
This one, it's a very easy JavaScript library, JSViz. If I correctly remember, it's called Viz.js. Let me check that. Yes, this one, the network Viz.js. Yes, this one.
Okay, thanks.
It's actually very basic. There are other maybe more sophisticated, but we use because we just found it.
Okay, cool.
Very cool.
Yeah, super cool. So yeah, how do you, I'm just curious, like, what is your guys' business model exactly? Like, how do you expect, because this is always the challenge with decentralized data, you know, like, how do you guys expect to turn this into something sustainable?
Yeah, it's really a question for us as well, actually, because we still looking for the business model that best can describe what we're doing, like our vision. Currently, we sell an API. It's currently we only have the only actual profit, which is rather actually small, is coming from APIs sales. We see some potential there, but maybe it's not the only way how it should be monetized.
Yeah.
And I also would like to hear some ideas, probably how can this be monetized, because it's very critical for us. We're not funded yet as a company. I mean we're not getting an external investment. We're just running on own like on own gas.
Yeah. Yeah, I mean, grants, sadly, this is a, you know, tragedy of the commons issue, right? You can produce value, but it doesn't have any value in the economic model that we have today. But right now, I think grants are probably the best option, and trying to apply for grants. We have somebody who likes to apply for grants for people. So it definitely, if you're open to that, I could connect you to Parker, who runs this grant ops campaign, which is cool. Of course, he needs a little bit of money to pay to write the grant, but it's pretty easy, and he knows what he's talking about, which is nice. POA Network, you guys got like a big grant from the Ethereum Foundation, right?
Right.
What have you guys done since then?
So we shipped.
Oh no, I mean like for funding.
So actually, I do not remember.
No, it's okay. I assume nothing, unfortunately, right? It's like it's so hard. This is why we're in this issue, because it's so much easier to just centralize the data and then take, some kind of profit by either advertising on your website, or you selling the data that you collect of your users, or some other solution. So it's a tough spot.
Right.
But
I have
I gotta say, block. Oh yeah, go ahead.
Yeah, one question, just one question to Alexei. Do you support only Ethereum mainnet, or you have plans to support another chains?
Yeah, we have plans to support Bitcoin in the nearest future.
Bitcoin, okay.
It's definitely number 2. And after that, maybe will be request for something else. Technologically, they should not be very complicated. I mean, the problem here is an organization of this. For us, we have very little resources even for the things that we have, and adding new network is require like resources from us.
Yes, we support nine chains.
That's cool. Yes,
a lot of.
I looked. Yes, it's very cool that you support a lot of testnets.
Yeah.
Actually, people asking us about testnets a lot, and we're answering that we don't do that.
Yeah. Well, I'll tell you, the nicest thing is that you can just run it. If it's open source, you can just create your own chain and then run that as you wish. And that's because Blockscout, you don't know how many chains you're supporting. Your servers might be supporting 9, but who knows who's using your software. But yeah, Blocksy, do you guys have Alexei? Sorry, do you have any other pieces that you want to share, or also contact? Like, how do people reach out to you guys?
We have contacts on the website. We have nice Twitter where we post interesting facts about the life of Ethereum. We are very open to communication. We have Telegram channel, not very active, but still there are people asking their questions and help. So in any way that's possible, we also actually I didn't mention that, but we making support for several scientific projects, and maybe I can describe more details in the next call, because it's certainly interesting in the aspect of decentralized data. There are scientific works based on the data that we provide, and we also help them to develop in one or other way. It's a project with New York University, Indiana University in the United States, and with two universities in Russia.
Very cool. Well, I didn't realize we were running kind of low on time, and Sergey hasn't had a chance to talk about his project. Sergey, do you want to give us a lowdown on Cyberdrop and the other stuff you're working on?
I want to set about a couple words about our Ethereum Analytical Database. If you cannot use public API, or public API is not comfortable for you, you can use our database on your server, or Node, ETL, and database, Grafana in or maybe locate in one server, and it's working fine. We work analysis data of the same system. It's very useful. Yes, you can use it. And
can you give us some information on how we would use it? Like, is there what's the website, and is there any suggestions?
No, we have on the repo in GitHub, and in repo you can see README. We don't want to build or Explorer. It's not in our plans.
Can you give us the name of the repo? Can you give us the the keywords?
I put name of repo to the chat. Cerebreum Analytical DB. Okay, and one question in which I think a lot of time is classification of addresses and to build universal classification for all chains. So I mean, it's create some of behavioral patterns of addresses and transactions. In this case, you can you could use this behavior patterns to detection some behavior in chain. In a couple of days, we will publish a paper about example of application these patterns for divided ERC 20 tokens transfers between three groups. First group is airdrops and cross-sell. Second group is traders and exchangers. And third group is ordinary users. It's very interesting to see how changes over time transfers between these groups.
Cool. Very cool.
I think we can build these patterns of behavior together, and these patterns maybe will be as standards analytical for behavioral analysis of chains.
Victor, did you have a question?
Yes, I have. Thank you, Griff. I'm trying to understand what you are doing. So, am I correct? This is a database so it's a blockchain explorer without UI interface, right? So you have
only Grafana or Jupyter notebook.
Oh, okay. Which process is collecting data? How do you collect the data from the blockchain to the database? What are you using for that?
We use Python.
Okay.
We built our ETL by Python. As database, we use ClickHouse as LXA. ClickHouse is very good for it, and you easily build sharding on it. In our solution, we built without sharding.
Okay, and all parts of your system are open source, right? So I mean, Python script, database itself. So
all of this.
Very cool.
We built the system for our services, but now we see that our services is not good for sale, and we decided to publish our solution to all, and you can use it for your services, for example.
Good contribution to decentralization.
Yeah, thanks, man. That's really nice. Well, guys, I think we actually should call it. Thank you guys so much for bringing in all this data, and hopefully it will be decentralized on YouTube. Oh, just kidding, not YouTube. Well, you know, that's the best we got. So, hey, thank you guys, and I'll see you guys in a couple weeks.
Thank you. Bye, everyone.
Thank you. Bye.
Uh,
Bye.
Bye bye.